How do you use a rollator walker properly? Nobody really wants to use a rollator walker, but if you have poor balance or mobility or hip or knee pain, in some cases it may be the best option either on a short-term basis or a long-term basis. But there are a few things you should know in order to get the most benefit out of walking with a rollator walker. Now, to use a rollator walker properly, it starts by getting it adjusted correctly. So you want the handles at a height that aligns roughly with your wrists, like that. So if your wrist is hanging down to your side, you don't want it too high. You also don't want it to where you really have to lean down to reach on it. So you want it roughly at the height of your wrist. Now, when you're walking, you don't want to get the walker too far out in front of you because it could get away from you and you could potentially fall. But at the same time, you don't want to be snugged up right inside of it either, because that puts your back in too much extension and it doesn't give you space to step. So what you really want is a slight lean forward, just slightly, to where your shoulders are over top of the handles and your arms are hanging directly down. So you could, if you wanted to, do a dip. I wouldn't recommend you do that, and if you did want to do that, you'd want to have the braces locked. But in any event, you want to be able to put weight down through the walker so that when you're walking, you can offload your body weight, whether you're offloading your knees or your hips or your spine. By pushing down through the handles, you take some of the weight off your legs and some of the weight off of your spine in order to allow you to walk more comfortably. Then as you're walking, you just walk as you normally would. There's not too much to think about when you're using a rollator walker as opposed to just a standard walker where you have to pick it up and step, and pick it up and step and pick it up. It's actually much easier than even walking with a cane because sequencing doesn't matter that much. Once you've kind of offloaded your weight, you just walk as you normally would. Now, there are other benefits to using a four-wheeled walker or a rollator walker in that it allows you to exercise for longer periods of time because you have less pain in your knees and your hips and your back, and also because it allows you to walk for a period of time and then sit down and rest on the seat, and then walk for a little bit more and then sit down and rest. So you don't have to worry about getting too far away from home and getting too tired or sore and kind of getting stuck, because you always have a place to sit down. But before you sit down, you want to make sure to take some safety precautions. Rollator walkers have handbrakes that help if you're going downhill and you want to help keep it from getting away from you too fast. But they also lock, which you can put them in place like that. You lock them before you sit down, and that way when you go to sit down, the walker doesn't slide out from behind you. Now you will see that even with the brakes locked, it still can slide a little bit. So you want to make sure you're holding on to the handles and you have it securely underneath of you, and then sit down. And then you can sit and rest and relax until you're ready to get up and start walking again. Now when you go to stand up from the rollator walker, the same thing applies. It can get away from you a little bit. You want to make sure that you have the brakes locked so that it doesn't get away from you too much, but it's not a solid chair. So be certain that you do have the brakes locked. Then you want to make sure you get your feet underneath of you like that. Push up using your hands. So you're pushing vertically up on it, pushing it down into the ground. And that helps you to stand up without the walker getting away from you. So hopefully you did find those tips helpful on how to use a rollator walker. If you are ready to get off of a rollator walker and you need to progress to using a cane, I've got another video that shows you how to do that right over here. But before you go, if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.